Alright, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video here on the channel. Today we're going to be talking about Gal Gadot. If you don't know who Gal Gadot is, she actually is the woman who played Wonder Woman. She is one of the most famous international actresses that I can think of, is the former Miss Israel, and recently found herself in a lot of controversy for some comments that she made about the ongoing conflicts between Israel and Palestine in the Middle East. Now, before I even really get any further into all of this, I'm just going to go ahead and say this right now. If you are looking for any sort of commentary or news or information, I guess, about the conflicts going on over there in Israel and Palestine, this is not the video for you. To be honest with you, man, I am a young man from the United States who plays video games and makes YouTube videos. I'm one of the probably least qualified people to explain that situation right now. I just simply don't know enough about everything that's going on to actually give you guys a full comprehensive explanation that won't be biased. I mean, if you really want to learn what's going on, I encourage you to look at a non-biased news source. Don't go to CNN or Fox News and think that you're going to figure out what's going on. You're not. If you're not willing to read 10 or 12 articles from 5 or 6 different sources that are global, then I wouldn't even expect to honestly be able to figure it out. But Gal Gadot, if you didn't know, is actually Israeli, okay? Which is pretty important, obviously, to this video because the conflict is, of course, between Israel and Palestine. Very gruesome, very violent conflict right now. Dozens of people dead, thousands of rockets being fired. I mean, it's turning into a full-scale conflict. They're talking about the potential of it developing into a full-scale war. It's fucking horrible to see that kind of stuff, man. Nobody wants to sit there and see people dying over shit like this, right? Nobody wants to sit there and witness this kind of stuff happen, right? Anyways, Gal Gadot made a statement based on everything that's been going on. She said, "My heart breaks. My country is at war. I worry for my family, my friends. I worry for my people. This is a vicious cycle that has been going on for far too long. Israel deserves to live as a free and safe nation. Our neighbors," she's talking about Palestine, "deserve the same. I pray for the victims and their families. I pray for this unimaginable hostility to end. I pray for our leaders to find the solution so we could live side by side in peace. I pray for better days." Now, this actually turned out to be quite the controversial statement, apparently for several reasons. It turns out that as of me recording this audio, it's been 2 days now since she posted this. It has 140,000 likes and nearly 112,000 quote tweets, most of which are extremely negative, claiming that, some pretty horrible things are going on, claiming manipulation, claiming that she is supporting and endorsing the oppression of Palestinians, genocide, one-sided war, occupation, things like that. Some people honestly responded very weirdly and were talking about how they thought her movies were shit, which I think, when children are being fucking blown up by bombs and entire apartment complexes are quite literally being fucking leveled to the ground, maybe saying, "Oh, hey, Wonder Woman 1984 was a shit movie anyway, I hate you," is kind of fucking pathetic, really, but I don't know. Anyway, to kind of break everything down here, the reasons why people are mad, I guess, if you were unable to figure it out by reading this here. First off, "My country is at war" was one of the statements that people took offense to because largely in the public view here, people are taking the side of the Palestinians. Now, I know that I said I wasn't going to do an in-depth explanation as to what's going on, but the baseline of what I can do just for the context of this, a lot of people are on the opinion that Israel is occupying Palestine's land unjustly. Israel, they claim, is I guess a baseless state that doesn't have the right to exist there. They're taking Palestinian land. These are other people's words, not mine. I'm explaining to you what other people are saying. And so people were kind of mad that she said her country's at war when they're basically all, I guess, of the opinion that Israel is basically the aggressor in the situation, that they've been antagonizing the Palestinians for decades. They've been killing people. They're the ones counting up the vast majority of the death toll with their attacks on the Palestinians and things like that. They're basically making the claim that Gal Gadot is when she says her country's at war, she's basically making it out like the Israelis are just being ransacked by the Palestinians, and as if she's playing victim. Another thing people took issue with, Israel deserves to live as a free and safe nation. Once again, a lot of people are of the opinion that Israel is an illegitimate state that does not deserve to exist where it exists. They believe that a lot of these people are under the opinion that Israel is an illegitimate state that's basically occupying the Palestinian lands. Now, the next statement is what really kind of set a lot of people off. Our neighbors deserve the same. Now, the reason this set a lot of people off was because she refused to address them by, like, their name, the Palestinian people. She said, our neighbors. I'm not necessarily sure exactly why she didn't say the Palestinians deserve the same. I mean, who can really tell if that was, like, intentional or not, right? Like, who can really guarantee if that was, like, supposed to be a jab? I mean, could it have been? Absolutely. It's not really possible to prove that, like, she meant any ill will with that. Now, another reason that a lot of people are, like, kind of, I guess, shaming Gal Gadot is, if you didn't know this, Gal Gadot actually served for, I believe, 2 years in the IDF, the Israeli Defense Forces, which is the military branch that defends the country of Israel. Now, honestly, I think that this is a pretty unfair but understandable criticism. Now, I mean, it's understandable to be like, well, you served in that country's military, so, you know, your political beliefs are definitely going to align with that country. I mean, like, as an American and as a person who has, like, several friends and family members who have joined the armed forces, the vast majority of them are, like, very patriotic, like, very pro-America, things like that, right? And I feel like that's kind of a universal thing. I mean, like, if you're going to be, like, willing to die for your country, you're usually going to be very patriotic and very defensive over that country. I mean, that's kind of like a logical thing, but I think one thing that a lot of these people don't realize when they say, oh, well, Gal Gadot served 2 years in the IDF is that under Israeli law, the vast majority of all adults have to serve under forced conscription in the IDF. Now, if you don't know what I'm saying, basically, like in Israel, you have to serve in the military for a period of time. Like here in the United States, you know, military service is voluntary, right? You go down to the recruiting office. You know, if you can pass all the basic shit, right? Like you can see straight, you're not flat-footed, you're not 700 pounds, you don't do crack cocaine and have 2 fingers, like, you know, you can basically get in and then you're in the military, right? So as long as it's not like all hands on deck, we're doing a military draft and taking anyone and everyone, like, it's voluntary here, which is pretty cool because personally, I like making YouTube videos. I don't really want to serve in the military, and like, that's a cool thing for me because obvious, but I think it's a little unfair to hold her to that standard considering where she's from. You pretty much just have to be in the military if you're of age and of health, right? So, I mean, I think at the end of the day, like, it makes sense that she's going to be pro-Israel. I mean, people are making the claim that she's, like, I guess, a propaganda tool for the Israeli government and whatnot, and, like, you know, she's being used by them to, like, you know, sway public opinion. I don't necessarily know if that's true. I think that, if anything, she's just pro-Israel. Sure, maybe she didn't word what she was saying the absolute best way that she could, but I think it's pretty understandable that the person from Israel who served in the Israeli military is gonna be kind of pro-Israel, right? Like, I feel like that's pretty understandable, you know? And I mean, like, would that excuse, like, blatantly defending crazy shit? Absolutely not, but I'm not necessarily sure what these people were expecting. Like, were you expecting for her to come out and be like, I can't believe what the Israeli government's doing. Like, I can't believe that we're in this situation. No, I mean, in all reality, like, for a lot of people in this situation, this is kind of how they've lived their lives. Like, they've lived their lives with increasing tensions, you know, going on in that issue with, like, this isn't the first time that there's been, you know, bloodshed between these two in Israel and Palestine. Like, this has happened before. This happened, I think, back in 2014. There was actually a war fought between Hamas and the Israelis. I mean, this is nothing new. And I think that just because it came back into the news cycle, it shouldn't be treated new. I think that this is an issue that people need to understand. Like, people need to realize that this is a global issue. Just because these are two small countries across the planet doesn't mean that you should be completely ignorant to what's going on. Like, you should try to know what's going on. I'm not the person to teach you that shit, to be honest with you, but I don't know. With all that being said, though, thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like. Subscribe if you're brand new around here on the channel. Follow me over on Twitter and Twitch at SubToOptimus. Make sure to check out Shop Opti down below. And until my next video, this is Optimus, well, watching Gal Gadot get canceled and signing out.